So I don't remember if it was the day that I got here, but I think it was. So there's a Mr. Steak across from Franklin. I walk in and I'm standing in line waiting to sit down. And this guy comes up to me, just this guy. He looks me up and down once and he goes, "Hammer or discus?" And I'm just like, I'm home. I'm home. I'm Lance Deal. I'm a hammer thrower, was a hammer thrower. Been in Eugene since 1985. Stewart came in 1982, and he came from Scotland. Dillinger hired him here to be the assistant coach, and at the time it was the TAC, now USA Track and Field, hired him to be a national hammer coach. So when I was in college, I was a discus thrower, mostly. An All-American, got 8th here at Hayward in 1984 in the discus, and I qualified for the hammer, but I didn't make the final. At this time, Stewart was already, he's just this badass from Scotland, right? And so everybody's a little bit afraid of him. But my coach would go in and talk to anybody. So he walked up Montana State, you know, walking over to this famous throws coach from the U of O and said, "Hey, I've got this 200-foot left-handed discus thrower, and he's throwing a little bit of hammer. You want to work with him?" And so I don't know what Stewart said, but something to the affirmative. I came in at 207, through like 212, qualified for the Nationals the first meet 5 days after I got here. Next week I threw another PR, and then the third week I threw 224, and I came back to Hayward, and Stewart said, "So laddie, are you staying?" And I went, yeah. We were all very young, and we came in here for a very specific purpose, throwing the hammer far, and it was amazing. We had 3 or 4 of the top 10 in the country from 1985 until 2000. He's just a brilliant coach, and nobody knows about it. We hung out at Alton Baker. We were the secret training group. They had signs, "Danger Hammer Throw Area," all around this field. So we'd run around and come back, and that was our warm-up run. And then we'd do our, we call them the skips, dynamic warm-up along this road. And yeah, then we go throw. Go see if we can find it. So let's see here. We had 2 slabs. We had 2 10 by 20 foot slabs and a cargo box. So this was, you can see this brown part. This was my slab, throwing that way. The storage container was just like right here. You can't really see much, but you can kind of imagine it. There's a little bit of a square right here. I don't know if you can see it, but yeah, it was right here. This was my home. This is part of my psychological armor. The things that I built to help me in big meets is, yeah, this is where there's so much energy here, and I would tap into it. In the early 90s, we defined ourselves. The NC2A created this situation that they called restricted earnings coach. And they limited the income that these guys could make, and Stewart was one of those. It ended up being unconstitutional, but during that time, we were trying to, keep our coach. And so we formed a 501c3, called it the U.S. School of Hammer Throwing, And it was really early in those times of not being just purely amateur athletes. But we were relatively successful, you know, as far as keeping Stewart here. Oh, and then meanwhile, yeah, we're just going nuts. I was benefiting by virtue of the fact that, you know, everybody had a part. You know, Fritchen was strong enough to push you in the heavy training. Driscoll was a really technical thrower. Brian, he was really wise. McGee was just more athletic. We had all these guys that you know, it's that old saying, the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. And that's what happened here. Where we took the technique of the hammer, it's just never been done. And you can still feel and hear the reverberations and see the reverberations, the rings in the pond. The first one for me was throwing over 80 meters. At the time, nobody thought that you could throw over 80 meters the way we were doing it. Silver medal, being ranked #1 that year by Track and Field News. Then, of course, the American record. That was sort of kind of the pinnacle, really. So after I quit throwing, I coached at U of O for 7 or 8 years, and then I was the director of the venue. I became a massage therapist, and I started building discus cages. I think it really, the reason that I'm still active is because I'm in Eugene. Cool thing about being in Eugene for me. So it's after the Olympics in '96, got a silver medal. I'm in Fred Meyer. I'm walking around looking for light bulbs, you know, and I saw this guy see me and recognize me. He's like, and so he doesn't come up and go, oh my God, let's do this. He walks past me and he goes, hey, good job. That was it. I mean, that's an indication of, I think, how we fit in, past tense, and how I fit in now, present tense, to the whole thing. It's like we were there. Not very many people knew about us.
Was there a sense of pride in being under the radar?
Yeah, very definitely. Very definitely. Underdogs. You know, some people say that this is the running capital, and it's not. It's the track and field capital. You know, and for a long time it was the hammer capital. We did things here that nobody's ever done.